You ready?
Yep.
Welcome to Sapsucker Farms. This is the year 2020 and we're getting ready to tap. This is to be a little instructional video on how to tap. So the first thing we do is we've determined that we're looking at a maple tree, and then ideally we're probably going to put something on the south side and the north side of the tree, but we're going to look at where the tree's been tapped before. We can see these little orange marks. We can see these little, you could almost call them like belly buttons, where they've been tapped before. Here's a really old one. Here's another one here. We want to avoid, so we're going to avoid those. We also want to avoid frost cracks. Like here's a frost crack right here. This is a nice healthy tree. Now, rule of thumb, if the tree is about the span width of my hand, that could be one tap. If the tree is the span width of two hands, that could be two taps. Even if the tree is just monstrous, we're just going to put two taps in. We're not going to get greedy. We're just going to do two taps. So, and when we put the taps in, we want to put them in so they're on opposite sides of the tree. We want to avoid where there's been a previous tap. This year, because we have little snow and our tubes are about 5 feet long, we're going to put the taps kind of mid-chest height. That's going to be plenty good. That's going to get them up away from the previous years, so that'll be plenty good. So I'm avoiding this frost crack here. I'm on the south side of the tree. If I have a little bit of extra craggy bark to deal with, sometimes I can just avoid it. Sometimes if I have a little hatchet with me, I can just clean the spot. This isn't a scalp. All we're doing is just removing a little bit of the excess bark so it's not interfering with the actual tapping. We don't want to see the white wood below the bark. If you've done that, you've gone too deep. So I'm going to place the drill bit where I want it. I'm going to have a little bit of an up angle so the sap will flow out of the hole. These are special drill bits that we have that match up with the size of the tap that we use. We want to go in about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. We're not going to run it in all the way. We're not going to put it in just 3/4 of an inch. We're going to go about 1.5 inches to 2 inches. That's about it. And you're going to go in one burst and come out. So you're not going to grind around or wobble the bit. You want to go straight in so you have a nice clean hole and come straight back out, pulling out whatever material you've cut away. So here we go. And that's it. If you do a nice clean job, the hole should be clean. You may have a little bit of debris in there. Oh, look at the first little dripping of sap. That's a good sign, people. So if there was any bark in there, you'd use a little stick or one of these little screws that I've got. You're not going to blow in there because all you're doing is just infusing something into the hole. Tap, the next person showed up with the tap. I'm going to place it in the hole. I'm going to have it so it's down, not up like this or like that or over here. Have it so it's down. That just makes most sense. Now when you're tapping in, listen carefully. Hear it stop. That's as far as it goes. We're not pounding it home like a nail. We're just getting a good tight fit in there. If you go too far, you'll split the wood and then we'll have sap weeping out below the tap, and also it's just going to do more damage to the tree. So we're trying to be respectful of the tree. So we got the tap in. Now we're going to set the bucket. Put the bucket somewhere where it's nice and firm. Flat surface, doesn't have to be level. And we're going to put the lid on. There's two little tabs on the lid. Here and here, hole here. We want to have that so that hole is on the up side, not on the bottom side, so that any rain or what have you runs away from the hole and goes away, sheds away. Or if a squirrel happened to sit up there, decides to take a pee, it's going to shed away from the hole. So that's good. We've got that hole set up. We'll do the other one here now. Come around the other side of the tree. roughly the other 180 degrees. I'm looking for a spot that's good and clean. This was a fairly recent tap hole. I'm going to avoid that. Here's another one maybe. Here's another one. Here's a frost crack here. Here's another hole. I'm going to go like, oh, here's a hole right here. So you got to kind of look around. That's why we mark them every year. I'm going to go, it's a little bit of a judgment call. I think we can go, yeah, these trees have some history to them. I'm going to go right up, clean the bark off right here. If we go too close, this is a woodpecker hole, I would say, so that's not what we're worried about. If we go too close to another hole, that area will still be scarred over for several years, so we want to avoid that. Now, I just noticed some little orange paint here, so maybe that wasn't a good spot. So let me move over. Okay. I think we're going to go right here. There's a frost crack here, so try to avoid that. There's another crack here.
Catch it.
So there. I think here's where we're going to go. Clean the spot a little bit. Put the hole in. I got a little bit of an angle on the bit. Straight in, straight out. Holes in. Grab my bucket and my tap. And if you have a crew, that works really good. So, and when you're waiting for the other person to come up with the tube to put it in, keep your finger where it was, because otherwise you might lose where the spot is. They get kind of hidden in the tree. Did you hear that? It just went in, stopped, that was good to go. Put the lid on, 2 snaps, put the tube in the hole, and set it up so it's not going to tip over, and so that the hole where the tube comes through is at the high side, so any water or squirrel pee sheds away. And that's it. The flags, will have the flags up. That's so when we come through the woods 2 days from now, let's say, to empty these buckets, we'll then put the flags down so we know which buckets that we've got. Thank you.